What you talking about, Willis?
Remember when that was the most quoted line in America? When 3 little words could make an entire nation laugh. Let's take a look at what happened to 15 well-known stars of our childhood. From teen heartthrobs to forgotten has-beens, child stars to Oscar winners, this is the ultimate then versus now countdown. Number 15. Leif Garrett, from teen idol to tragic figure. Let's start our countdown with the ultimate 1970s teen heartthrob, Leif Garrett, whose golden locks and dreamy voice made millions of girls scream. In the late 1970s, Leif Garrett was everywhere. His albums went platinum, his concerts sold out worldwide, and he was the poster boy definition of the teen idol. Songs like I Was Made for Dancin' dominated the charts, and he seemed destined to be the next David Bowie or Elton John. But Garrett's fall from grace was swift and brutal. By the 1980s, drug addiction had destroyed his singing voice and career. Multiple arrests for drug possession, a devastating car accident that paralyzed his best friend, and decades of legal troubles followed. Today at 62, he's clean, but largely forgotten, making occasional reality TV appearances and struggling financially. He's repeatedly said that fame at such a young age was the worst thing that ever happened to him. Number 14, the cast of Happy Days. Where are they now?
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
The Fonz may have been cool, but what happened to the cast after the show Jump the Shark is a mixed bag of triumph and tragedy. Happy Days ran from 1974 to 1984 and made household names of Henry Winkler, Fonzie, Ron Howard, Richie, and the entire Cunningham family. At its peak, it was the most watched show on television. Now, Ron Howard has become one of Hollywood's most successful directors, with films like Apollo 13 and A Beautiful Mind. Henry Winkler reinvented himself as a children's book author and won an Emmy for Barry, but others weren't so lucky. Aaron Moran, Joni, passed away homeless in 2017 after years of drug addiction, and several cast members struggled with typecasting and financial problems. If you're already shocked by these transformations and want to see what happened to even more of your childhood favorites, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Trust me, some of these stories will blow your mind. Number 13. Molly Ringwald, the Brat Pack princess who vanished. She was the queen of the 1980s, but Molly Ringwald's Hollywood reign was surprisingly short-lived. From 1984 to 1986, Molly Ringwald was the biggest young star in Hollywood. 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, and Pretty in Pink made her the voice of a generation, and she seemed destined for Julia Roberts-level stardom. But Ringwald walked away from Hollywood at the height of her fame, turning down major roles including Pretty Woman and Ghost. She moved to Paris, focused on jazz singing, and later returned to TV with The Secret Life of the American Teenager. While she's had a respectable career, she never reached the superstar status many predicted. Today, she's more known for her thoughtful essays about the problematic elements in her own films than for her recent acting work. Number 12. David Cassidy, The Partridge Family heartthrob's tragic end. The Partridge Family made David Cassidy a global superstar, but his story ends in heartbreak and regret. In the early 1970s, David Cassidy was bigger than the Beatles in many countries. His concerts caused riots, his records sold millions, and he was the ultimate teen idol of his generation. Cassidy spent decades trying to escape the shadow of Keith Partridge. He had some success on Broadway and in Vegas, but struggled with alcoholism and financial problems. Multiple DUI arrests, bankruptcy, and a bitter relationship with his Partridge Family co-stars defined his later years. In 2017, he passed away at the age of 67 from liver failure, having spent his final years largely forgotten by mainstream audiences. His last interview revealed deep regrets about his career choices and the price of early fame. Number 11. John Travolta, The Ups and Downs of a Hollywood Survivor. Few stars have experienced the extreme highs and lows of John Travolta's career roller coaster. Saturday Night Fever in Grease made Travolta a megastar by age 24. He was nominated for an Oscar, had hit records, and seemed destined for a lifetime of leading man roles. Travolta's career crashed hard in the 1980s with a string of flops that made him a Hollywood punchline. But Pulp Fiction gave him one of the greatest comebacks in cinema history, leading to a second act with films like Get Shorty and Face Off. Recent years have been tougher with personal tragedies, including his son's death and his wife's cancer battle, plus more career misfires. He's still working, but his current status is more respected veteran than movie star. Number 10. The cast of Three's Company. Behind the laughs was real drama. The comedy trio that made us laugh hid serious real-life struggles behind their pratfalls and misunderstandings. Three's Company was a ratings phenomenon from 1977 to 1984, making stars of John Ritter, Joyce DeWitt, and Suzanne Summers. Their physical comedy and sexual innuendo pushed boundaries and created water cooler moments across America. The cast relationships, though, were destroyed by salary disputes and ego clashes. Summers was written off after demanding equal pay, leading to decades of bitterness. Ritter became a beloved character actor until his sudden passing in 2003. DeWitt largely disappeared from Hollywood, making rare appearances and staying out of the spotlight. The show's legacy is complicated by revelations about the toxic work environment and pay inequality that destroyed friendships. Number 9. Gary Coleman, The Tragic Tale of Arnold Drummond. Different strokes made Gary Coleman one of the most recognizable faces on earth, but his post-fame life was a series of tragic events.
What you talking about, Willis?
What You Talking About, Willis? Made Coleman a global phenomenon. At his peak, he was earning $100,000 per episode and was one of the most beloved child stars in television history. Coleman's adult life was marked by financial exploitation by his parents, multiple lawsuits, health problems, and personal struggles. He worked as a security guard, appeared on reality TV shows, and battled depression. His 2010 death at age 42 was ruled accidental, but it capped a life that never lived up to the promise of his childhood stardom. His story became a cautionary tale about child exploitation in Hollywood. Number 8. Shelley Long, From Cheers' Success to Career-Ending Decisions.
Cheers is filmed before a live studio audience.
Shelley Long made one of the biggest career mistakes in television history when she left Cheers at the height of its popularity. As Diane Chambers on Cheers, Long was part of one of TV's greatest comedy ensembles. She won Emmy Awards, earned critical acclaim, and was positioned for major movie stardom. Long left Cheers in 1987 to focus on films, but her movie career never took off. Films like Outrageous Fortune had modest success, but she never became the Julia Roberts-level star she hoped to be. She returned to television with mixed results and has largely faded from public consciousness. Today, she's remembered more for leaving Cheers than for anything she did afterward. Number 7. The Kids from the Brady Bunch. Growing up Brady was complicated. America's most famous TV family had some very un-Brady-like problems behind the scenes. The Brady Bunch ran from 1969 to 1974 and created 6 young stars who became cultural icons. They represented the ideal American family to millions of viewers. The Brady kids had vastly different post-fame experiences. Barry Williams, Greg, had steady work in theater and reality TV. Maureen McCormick, Marcia, struggled with drug addiction and depression before finding stability. Christopher Knight, Peter, became a successful businessman, but others faced more serious problems. The pressure of being America's kids led to various personal struggles, financial problems, and difficulty establishing adult careers separate from their Brady identities. Number 6. Burt Reynolds, The Rise, Fall, and Complicated Legacy. Burt Reynolds was once the biggest movie star in the world, but his story is one of spectacular rise and crushing fall. In the 1970s and early 80s, Reynolds was the top box office draw globally. Smokey and the Bandit, The Longest Yard, and Deliverance made him the epitome of masculine movie stardom. He was also a tabloid fixture, dating Hollywood's most beautiful women. Reynolds' career crashed in the late 1980s due to poor film choices, health problems, and financial mismanagement. He filed for bankruptcy, lost his Florida ranch, and struggled with painkiller addiction. A late career renaissance with Boogie Nights earned him an Oscar nomination, but he never fully recovered his former status. Burt passed away in 2018, remembered as a cautionary tale about ego and poor decision-making, destroying a legendary career. Hey everyone, these Hollywood falls from grace are getting more intense, aren't they? If you're loving these shocking transformations and want to hear more stories about what really happened to your favorite stars, you need to subscribe right now and smash that like button. We've got even more jaw-dropping stories coming up. Number 5. Linda Blair, from The Exorcist to B-movie obscurity. Linda Blair's iconic performance in The Exorcist should have launched a major career, but Hollywood had other plans. Blair's terrifying performance as the possessed Regan in The Exorcist earned her an Oscar nomination at age 15 and made her one of the most famous faces in cinema. The film was a cultural phenomenon that defined the horror movie for decades. Blair struggled with typecasting and was never able to match her early success. She appeared in exploitation films, B-movies, and made-for-TV projects throughout the 1980s and 90s. Legal troubles, including being arrested for drug possession, further damaged her reputation. Today, she's largely known for her animal rights activism and occasional horror convention appearances. Her post-Exorcist career serves as an example of how iconic roles can sometimes trap rather than liberate actors. Number 4. The Stars of the Love Boat. Where did they dock? The Love Boat featured a rotating cast of guest stars and a core crew that became family to millions of viewers, but their post-cruise stories vary wildly. From 1977 to 1987, The Love Boat was appointment television, featuring everyone from Hollywood legends to emerging stars. The core cast of Gavin MacLeod, Captain Steubing, Bernie Koppel, Doc, and others became beloved fixtures in American homes. MacLeod continued working steadily until his passing in 2021, becoming a popular cruise ship spokesperson in a case of perfect typecasting. Other cast members had mixed fortunes. Some continued working in television, while others struggled with the transition to life after the show ended. The series' legacy is largely positive, though some guest stars later revealed that the show's party atmosphere sometimes crossed professional boundaries. Number 3. Robin Williams, How Mork and Mindy Changed Everything. Robin Williams' breakthrough role as the alien Mork launched one of comedy's greatest careers, but also began a lifelong struggle with fame's pressures. Williams exploded onto television in 1978 with Mork and Mindy, his manic energy and improvisational skills making him an instant star. The show ran for 4 seasons and established Williams as a major entertainment force. Williams parlayed his TV success into one of cinema's most beloved careers, earning Oscar nominations and wins while battling personal demons, including addiction and depression. In 2014, he left us in an unimaginable way that shocked the world and revealed the depth of his private struggles. Williams' story shows how even the most successful post-TV careers can hide profound personal pain. His legacy is complicated. He achieved everything a performer could want, yet couldn't escape the darkness that ultimately consumed him. Number 2. The cast of Baywatch, Life After the Beach. Baywatch made global superstars of its cast, but Life After the Beach was a mixed bag of continued success and spectacular flameouts. Baywatch was the most watched show in the world during its 1990s peak, making international stars of David Hasselhoff, Pamela Anderson, and the entire cast of lifeguards. The show was pure escapist entertainment that launched 1,000 careers. The cast's post-Baywatch stories read like a Hollywood soap opera. Anderson became a global sex symbol, but struggled with multiple divorces, sex tape scandals, and activist causes that sometimes overshadowed her entertainment work. Hasselhoff became a self-aware pop culture icon, embracing his cheesy image while maintaining a surprisingly successful career. Other cast members had varying degrees of success, with some transitioning to reality TV and others disappearing entirely. The show's legacy is both celebrated and mocked, representing peak 1990s excess. And at number 1, Dana Plato, the most tragic Hollywood story of all. Our number 1 spot goes to Dana Plato from Different Strokes, whose post-fame story represents everything that can go wrong with child stardom. Plato played Kimberly Drummond on Different Strokes and was considered one of the most promising young actresses of her generation. Beautiful, talented, and seemingly destined for major stardom, she had everything going for her. Plato's story is one of Hollywood's most tragic cautionary tales. After being written off Different Strokes due to pregnancy, she struggled to find work and battled substance abuse. She posed for Playboy, appeared in B-movies, and was arrested for robbing a video store in 1991. Her struggles with drugs and alcohol continued throughout the 1990s, and she passed due to an overdose in 1999 at just 34 years old. She left behind a son who would later struggle with his own demons. Plato's story represents the absolute worst-case scenario of child stardom gone wrong. Her tragic end, combined with the similar fates of her Different Strokes co-stars Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges' struggles, led to significant changes in how Hollywood protects child actors. Laws were strengthened, financial protections implemented, and psychological support systems created. But sadly, these changes came too late for Plato and others like her. So there you have it. 15 stars whose then versus now stories range from inspiring comebacks to heartbreaking tragedies. What started as a simple countdown became a journey through the complicated realities of fame, success, and the price of stardom in Hollywood. These stories remind us that even the biggest stars are human beings dealing with real problems, often without the support systems they desperately need. And a few demonstrate that it's possible to reinvent yourself and find new success, even after your original fame has faded. If this deep dive into the real stories behind your favorite stars has left you wanting more, make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell. And if this video gave you a new perspective on fame and its consequences, show some love with a like. It really helps us continue bringing these untold stories. What other stars or shows would you like to see get the then versus now treatment? Let us know in the comments below. Who knows? Your suggestion might be our next deep dive into Hollywood's hidden histories. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the most interesting stories happen after the cameras stop rolling and the crowds go home.